All right. In this video, we're going to look at how to add rulers and guidelines into your design area. And we'll be using those specifically for how to align imagery and design elements into our design. So first off, what we're going to do is turn on our rulers inside of the design area. So let's go up to View from our top menu bar. And we're going to go down to where it says Rulers, and we're going to turn on Show Rulers. Now, you notice here there are other options you can work with depending on the type of work you're doing inside of Illustrator, what you're making for. They do have, obviously, there's an option here for video rulers, which allows you to create active graphics for a specific video aspect ratio or dimensional area. But let's go to just Show Rulers for our document. And once we got that on, now we have a ruler that runs across the top and the left side of our work area so that we know where our dimensional space limits are. And you notice the rulers do change based on the active artboard that you are selected on or clicked on. So if I click inside the area of this artboard, then it changes the relative location of 0. And the 0 point is always starting up at the upper left-hand corner. If I switch over to this artboard and click on it, then the 0 starts at this corner of this artboard to measure it off. Alright, so let's work in our artboard over here. So I'm just going to click on that. And we have our rulers up. Now we can pull out guidelines onto the screen. Guidelines are basically, you can think of them as non-printing lines inside of the document that are really just used for aligning imagery up next to, measuring areas, and just sort of setting the framework for a design space. These are very commonly used in early conceptual stages of a design process, whether it's website design, poster design, or any other kind of media. But it helps to kickstart where things need to go. So we're going to use these for alignment along the way. So to activate a guide, what we're going to do is click inside the ruler area and drag with our mouse. So notice as I click and drag down that there's this little dotted gray line that follows my mouse that is the same horizontal matching line as the ruler. So as I drag it down, it stays that color until I release it. So I'm going to pick a line that sort of borders this computer screen shape on our poster. Now, my poster design for the demo is based on the concept of coding languages and the power of them. So we have a computer screen with a mouth at the center that uses words. So I'm going to outline the screen first, and I'm going to create let's start with the top of the screen up here. So just give it like an approximate location for the top line of the screen. Let it go. Now notice when I let it go that it becomes a blue line. If I move my mouse over it, it also becomes kind of a cyan, light blue color kind of line. And it'll tell you on screen that it's a guide when you overlap it. So that's our first guideline. So let's drop another one down. So I'm going to go back up to my ruler and click inside the ruler and drag. I'm going to drop one down here for the base of the monitor. There's another one. And we're going to outline the inside of the monitor too. So I'm going to put one here for the inner frame of the monitor. It's kind of an Apple style monitor screen. And then we're going to also outline the sides. Now to get the sides, we need to go to our side ruler instead. So let's go to our vertical ruler. And again, you're approximating the dimensional area. It doesn't have to be perfect if your drawing isn't, right? So I'm just going to pull this in. And I'm going to try to make the spacing between these guides about the same. Now if I drop one in the wrong place, it's okay. I can just click and drag on an existing guide to move it around. All right, I'm going to drag another one over here to the other side, and another one to outline the frame. All right, so we have the frame of the image done. It doesn't hurt to add some other guides, like one for the outer edges of the mouth here. Since the mouth goes top to bottom on the screen, that's a good one to outline. And then we might add a guide down here at the bottom for this little stand. So for the stand, I might add one or two more guides just to understand its exact width on the bottom. Now again, these aren't centered perfectly, the distribution of these guides is rather off, which means my drawing is probably off too. And that's okay. Part of the process of adding guides and things is knowing that you have room to move things around to get the design the way you want it. So once we've moved around some of the guides, then we're pretty much good to go for our next step. And again, guides serve as an excellent way for you to line up imagery. So let me show you. If I drag this image around, it will lock onto a respective outline guide wherever you pull it. Now if you pull it slowly, it'll magnetize to it exactly. And that's just great for alignment inside of a design. So I highly recommend using guides whenever trying to design something that has specific set-aside zones for where you want to add imagery or even text or any of those things. So that'll conclude this step. Our next step is going to be adding into this design, now that we have some spaces blocked out, respective placeholder shapes to represent parts of our image and placeholder text boxes to represent where text will go inside of our design. So we'll pick up in the next video on that step.